As a nation and as a sporting nation, especially rugby, they're reasonably arrogant, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way, because they're confident in their own ability and their flair and the way that they play the game. But it can sometimes, well, it gets under my skin anyway, whenever you don't get shown the due respect that you deserve. And then obviously in 2000, going over, we had a certain gentleman in our ranks, Brian O'Driscoll, who was absolutely on fire that day especially. I mean, the game itself, I remember it being an unbelievably hot atmosphere. It was quite a humid day, even though there's quite a bit of shade in the stadium itself. The crowd was incredible, and the longer that we stayed in the game, the more we could hear our support drowning out the French support, and as soon as that happened, that just gave us an extra lift. We scored 3 tries, the French scored 1. Our 3 were quality. There was a fudgy quick tap penalty from about 3 yards. Malcolm O'Kelly's hands in the first try were unbelievable. For a big man, hitting a perfect pass of his left hand to O'Driscoll. I mean, he'll tell you that he'll do that every 99 times out of 100 anyway. The second try, obviously, I had a bit of involvement with. It was just a bit of a switch in the middle of the park, and I was fortunate enough to find a gap, and obviously you turn around and there's only going to be one fella on your shoulder, and that's Brian in those situations. He's a good player with the ball in hand, but he picks lines off people as well, and did it brilliantly for that try. And the third one was just a sheer piece of brilliance by Brian, pouncing on a loose ball and skinning Entermac to top off what was a fantastic day for him. Something that actually stood out for me, which showed the character in the team, was Dennis Hickey's try-saving tackle on Del Mazo. I think at that stage in the match, if France had got a bit further ahead, it would have been very difficult for us to come back. And that particular match, that match in 2000 in Paris, is my favourite match ever. I think just the history of that moment and being able to be part of it and help create it will never ever go out of my mind. I think after the match, walking down the Champs-Élysées with Drico at 5 in the morning, having just come out of a karaoke bar, drinking bottles of wine, will stick with me. It's one of those matches that if you were there at the game itself, it will live with you forever, but to play in it, I mean, it's part of my being and fabric now.